welcome everyone. Welcome to Inc.U 2023. I am so happy to see a room full of fans and supporters of the teams here today. So Inc.U, we are here today. We've got 6 of our best student teams here to pitch their startup ideas, and they are all competing for a cash investment pool of $30,000. So lots on the line. They're all super excited. Every team that made it here as the finalist today has been through a process, but they have all demonstrated a commitment to entrepreneurship, a commitment to taking their idea and taking it into reality, and they've made progress towards that. So again, these are the best 6 teams here to compete for cash prizes today. Inc.U is the signature student pitch competition of Invent Penn State. Invent Penn State started in 2015, is a Commonwealth-wide initiative focused on spurring economic development, job creation, and student success. None of this would be possible without our wonderful sponsors and university partners. So we have Penn State Startup Week powered by PNC, also the College of Engineering, the Engineering Entrepreneurship Program. And this program is also brought in part by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and a grant through the Department of Community and Economic Development. I would also like to thank WPSU, which is Central Pennsylvania's only public radio and television station, for their support today in filming and broadcasting this event. WPSU has been involved with this event since its inception in 2016. The other thing that's good to know about Inc.U, it is truly a Commonwealth-wide program. This year, 65% of the campuses across the Commonwealth participated in Inc.U in some way. We had teams from 8 campuses apply, but also, and more importantly than that, most of the work that goes into selecting the teams, preparing the teams to be ready to present today is all done by the staff of the Launchbox networks across 9 different campuses this year, and also faculty across several campuses as well. So it is something that we, truly across the Commonwealth participate in. So with that, I first also want to introduce my judges today. First, we have Annie Hughes. Annie currently serves as the statewide coordinator for the Invent Penn State Launchbox and Innovation Network, and is an adjunct faculty at Penn State Harrisburg. She is a dynamic coach, consultant, and educator who has coached and instructed hundreds of entrepreneurs in the lean startup process, design thinking, and business strategy. Annie is also the co-founder and CEO of Hughes Coaching and Consulting, a management consulting and professional coaching firm in her hometown of Harrisburg. So let's give Annie a round of applause. All right, in the middle, we have Pat Loftus. Pat is an investor and investment committee member with New World Angels, a group of accredited private investors and entrepreneurs dedicated to providing equity capital and guidance to early-stage entrepreneurial companies with a strong presence in Florida, where she resides. So thank you for coming to the Pennsylvania weather. Pat brings over 35 years of technical and business leadership in global nuclear energy, where she has held positions with Exelon, Northeast Utilities, and Westinghouse Electric Company, as well as several small businesses. Her expertise includes strategy, business development, product management, and innovation, as well as independent oversight and federal regulatory affairs and compliance. Pat also serves in advisory roles for early-stage companies, and she focuses her philanthropic and nonprofit work in the areas of entrepreneurship and innovation. She is currently the chair of the SCORE Foundation and SCORE Association Board Director, and has been a SCORE mentor for over 8 years. She serves on university entrepreneurship and engineering councils, and is a former officer of the Penn State Engineering Alumni Association. So let's give Pat a round of applause. All right, and last, we have Doug LaPlante. Doug is the recently retired Chief Innovation Officer and Vice President of Strategy for New Pig Corporation in Tipton, PA, a position he held for over 25 years, where he was responsible for driving sustained organic growth. New Pig, once listed on the Inc. 500, develops, manufactures, and markets environmental products used in over 100,000 workplaces around the world. Doug loves working in all aspects of innovation and has developed products for Bausch & Lomb and Ray-Ban sunglasses, as well as serving as a past board member for PDMA, the Product Development Management Association. Now that Doug is retired, you can find him hiking Scotia Barrens around State College with his wife, and also hiking with his 4 kids around the world wherever he can catch up with them. He also roasts green coffee beans from Africa, Central and South America into spectacular coffees. So let's give Doug a round of applause. All right, they're not the only judges in the room. With the support of the Engineering Entrepreneurship Program, this year for the first time, we are also offering a People's Choice Award of $2,500. So all of you that are in the room will also have an opportunity to vote for your favorite team once the pitches are done, and you should each have a card at your chair that you'll be able to use later. So we'll give you instructions and take a break at some point for you to cast your vote for your favorite team. In addition to the votes that are collected here today, throughout the week of Penn State Startup Week this coming week, there will be several events, watch parties, and other events happening across all of the campuses to collect additional votes for the People's Choice Award. And that award will be actually awarded at a separate event this coming week at a reception during Startup Week. So it will not be announced here today, but we will announce the winners of the $30,000 cash prizes at the end of the event today. So with that, thank you again all for coming and for coming to support your teams. And let's get rolling with starting with our teams.
We want to foster as much productivity and innovation as possible. My name is Nico Seimer, and I am the co-founder and CEO of Solus. Solus is a personal computer company where we provide easy and cheap access to high-powered compute for professionals to run their applications on the cloud instead of having to rely on their local hardware power. Being a part of Inc.U makes me extremely grateful. They are giving me the opportunity to provide value to the world. Solus winning the Inc.U competition really just means having an increased chance to help the young film production students perform the tasks and be as productive as they possibly can, to provide the tools to them that they need to do their work. Hey everyone, I'm Nico, co-founder and CEO of Solus. Slow computers hinder professional creatives and entrepreneurs and engineers from doing their best work. My friend Rohan is a film producer, and he always complains to me that when he is editing or rendering his films, his slow computer always slows down his mission-critical work. And he's not alone. The freelancers and businesses who I've talked to who do this for a living, they have to fork over $2,000 to $5,000 every 18 months to buy new computers just to do their job. And these computers that they buy are these big desktop computers that they can't move around, which is important nowadays with hybrid and with like remote work. And so our solution to these problems is to run applications on the cloud instead of on your local computer. We want to make it easy for you to render and run all of your applications on your own computer. And so we're using public cloud like Amazon and Microsoft to run these applications, and you can run them on any computer just as long as you have an internet connection. And we want to do this with the help of other software companies like Adobe and SolidWorks, where we will first have a distribution channel with them, where we can have our product, Solus, inside of their product. And this will enable easy access for our users. This will also provide vast distribution channels and a defensible strategy for us as well. And for them, the partners, they also get higher user retention rates. Our users also want a fast way, an easy way to use these applications because there are competitors to this. But they are for technical IT people, But we want to make this easy for anyone to use, to access the compute that they need by just clicking on the app on their desktop, and that's it. No complicated setup. With my co-founder, Jay, we have developed our MVP and are having 3 firms and 15 freelancers pilot it for us. And we want to develop our second beta and have this in use by this summer, as well as confirm our pricing model, which is going to be a subscription for intensive compute and another lower subscription for standard compute. We plan to use the Inc.U money to host 100 users on our platform and also for engineers. I want to thank you all for listening, and I'm ready for the judges' questions.
Thanks, Nico. Interesting idea. I have a bunch of questions, actually. The first thing is just understanding the business model, the revenue model.
Yep.
So you're saying that this would exist inside of an Adobe program.
So
but you're charging the end user? I don't understand how that.
Yeah, so at first, we want to build a desktop app that someone will download. Okay. And in that app, you will be able to access programs like Adobe, like SolidWorks, like Google Chrome, for the user to click on, and it will open up like it were just a normal window. We would then want to partner with other applications like Adobe, like SolidWorks, to have, once we have proven that this boosts retention rate for them, we want to have this integrated into their software. That way, users can get benefit, and also the software companies can get benefit. And this is also a competitive strategy for us, too, because this prevents other entrants into these strategic partnerships will sort of have a moat.
So you transition from where you're charging a subscription to a user to selling directly, to working directly with Adobe, for example.
We would want to always be selling subscriptions to the end user.
Okay.
And then with Adobe, we would still have to work out the agreement and the partnership with the revenue, but the end user would be paying for the subscription. And for businesses, it would be the business that would be getting that would be paying for the subscription. And this would also be a lot cheaper than the business having to pay upfront capital costs for multi-$1,000 machines all at once. It'd just be a monthly subscription.
Right. Thanks, Nico. I'm going to play off of the comment that you made and also Annie's comment. Tell us a bit about the competitive landscape and how you developed your value proposition that differentiates your company.
That's a good question. So there are some other products. If you're technical, you might know about virtual machines, and these are typically what our competitors use. So if you use a Mac, for example, and you are a film producer on a Mac, our competitors they force you to access a Windows virtual machine. And for a lot of Mac users, they're not comfortable with that. They just want to use their own computer, their own operating system with their own files and their own apps. They don't want to be subjected to another type of user interface. They also have hourly pricing models, which according to our users disincentivizes growth and makes them not want to use their product. The other primary competitive advantage would be in the future that we would want to do, which would be those integrations with the software partners, which would be a very easy way for our users to be able to access our software. Because current users think that the current software available from our competitors is just not accessible because they just don't know about those solutions. So us being inside of software would make it very easy for people to find us.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks, Nico. I have 2 questions. So in doing sort of the threat analysis, have you guys, what thought have you given to, you talked about SolidWorks and Adobe, for example, and future partnerships, but at the same time, they're moving their applications and they're moving their customers into cloud environments. Mm-hmm. Why are they going to want to work with you when that will compete with their offer? And how are you addressing that threat?
Yeah. So with Adobe and SolidWorks, these are big companies, right? And of course, we would want to, I use them as popular examples, but we would also work with companies that maybe have more niche products. Maybe they have more of a smaller team as compared to Adobe with their thousands of users. And we really want to be that all-in-one package for Adobe to really subscribe into. That way, they don't have to spend a lot of time and money in R&D on developing a product just for themselves, when we could really be that all-in-one package for them, and they could save the time and effort into creating their own product better. So, and also, this would enable us to, if we have say if you're a more smaller boutique software firm, if we were to have this launcher, that's what we're calling it, where you can access any application you want to use through our desktop app. If you're a smaller firm and you want to promote your application, if we have, say, a lot of film producers, and you want to promote yourself to other film producers, and a lot of film producers use our launcher, then that's also another reason for applications to want to integrate with us. So it also benefits them marketing-wise.
Got it. Just a quick follow-up. So tied to the threat is the issue of service and support, especially in cloud applications. And so are you guys planning for staffing for support? And
yeah,
how are you handling that?
Yeah. We would want to have dedicated support for that, because we recognize that this is a new type of product to do computing in a different kind of way. And especially in the beginning, we want to have very tailored support. And we will only have enough capital to serve blocks of users at a time, and so we will scale our support according to that. But we will always try and strive for 24/7 support, whenever we can.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We want to give control back to citizens and make sure that they are empowered to live their lives with all the information that they can have. Hi, my name is Sonika Kohli, and I'm one of the co-founders of Chirp Alert.
My name is Eric Leone, and I'm one of the co-founders of Chirp Alert. Chirp Alert is an app that allows users to report what's going on around them and have other users validate that information to ensure that trustworthy information is widespread. Kenya in general is an area of the world that is very collectivist. They care a lot about each other and making sure that everyone is doing as well as they can. But that being said, the news infrastructure in Kenya is very low resourced and very easily corrupted by the government or by corporations.
Being part of Inc.U has been such a special experience because it's shown me and my partner Eric that social impact ventures are valued and prioritized. I think this has been a really needed shift in Penn State and just in general in the world, and it's been a very honoring feeling to be part of that experience. This is our friend Muli. He is a vendor from the craft market of Kenya. This is how he makes a living for his immediate and extended family. One day, Muli sees a tweet warning of political violence in the area, so he stays home from work. His daily life is completely disrupted, and he loses his critical income needed to put food on the table for his family. Now, the saddest part of this story is that tweet turned out to be entirely false, meaning that this damage was preventable. Now, this may sound silly for us in America, but this problem with misinformation is an everyday struggle that many communities in Africa face. And that is where Chirp Alert comes in. Inspired by countless conversations with Kenyans, we are developing an app that allows users to create reports about events happening in their local communities. These reports are then processed and validated by using the wisdom of the crowd.
In other words, our community will be able to validate or invalidate the events that are going on around them. This will be augmented by our trustworthiness algorithm, which is capable of rating a user's trustworthiness by verifying the account's proximity, reputation, and experience. This process will ensure that trustworthy information is shared in a timely manner to the people that need it the most. Chirp Alert is unique because there are currently no community crowdsourcing platforms for current events that are able to be both timely and local while remaining trustworthy. We intend to target the roughly 15 million college students aged 18 to 24 in Africa as our initial user base. This is a group that's extremely tech savvy, and they're often the most well-informed in their families. Our app will be entirely free to use in order to maximize impact, and our revenue will be generated through sponsored content throughout our app. This revenue stream is mutually beneficial because for small businesses in Kenya, there are currently very few methods of advertising that have such a low barrier to entry. Our team has been working on Chirp Alert for the past 2 years, and we've made genuine connections to Kenya. We were able to go to Kenya last summer to perform field research, and this summer we'll be going back to beta test both our app and our algorithm. With $30,000, Chirp Alert would be able to fund the development of our app, as well as fund a team on the ground who'd be able to launch our app and make Chirp Alert a reality. We are extremely excited about Chirp Alert's potential for impact on Kenya, on Africa, and on the world. Thank you, and we'll take any questions.
All right, thanks for your presentation. Yeah. I think the first question I have is really about getting this started. And honestly, the first reaction I had is if you're talking about misinformation, which is usually by design, right? There can be coordinated efforts with many people to create a misinformation campaign. How might you recruit a trustworthy first group of users? Are you going to vet them? Are you going to recruit them yourself? How can you establish trust in the larger community so that people will be attracted to your app?
The way that we do that, at least our plan right now, is to partner with community organizations in the city of Kisumu, which is where we intend to launch. So we've already had a lot of conversations with these community groups that are really interested in being very altruistic with their community, helping their community members and sharing trustworthy information. And we believe that by starting with these groups of people, they'll share it with their network, their family, their friends, people that can be trusted. And while the numbers of our app grow and our algorithm isn't as strong, we're able to start it off with some really good people.
And in general, since Kenya is a collectivist society, that means that people are generally, looking out for each other. A win for a neighborhood is a win for a whole town. We've done a lot of surveying in Kenya, and this was further validated by our field research, that people are more than willing to contribute trustworthy information without expecting anything in return. They really just need a means to do it.
Thanks.
Great, good presentation, love the video. And I really like the story.
Thank you.
So I'm going to go at this from two perspectives. The first perspective is the business perspective. So tell us a little bit about how it is that you will actually produce revenue and when you might expect to do that. That's question one. And question two is the technical question around the AI powered. It takes a lot of data to develop and train an algorithm. So answer the business question first and then the techie question second.
Sure. So the way that we make money is through sponsored content throughout our app. So you can think of common social media like Instagram, very similar, except tailored to small businesses in Kenya. So on the Discover feed, you'd be able to see renewed inventory, a new sale, an event going on in a small business that you wouldn't be able to see otherwise unless they have this avenue to advertise. And we were actually fortunate enough to go to Kenya and talk to small businesses. And everyone we talked to was talking about like, hey, can I download this now? Can I sign up to advertise now? They were extremely excited about that opportunity, which got us really excited about it too. As for projections on when we can see revenue, that's a little uncertain now just because we still need the money to develop the app. We would expect to see a lot of interest, like I said, so it's hard for us to estimate that now. As for the tech side, with AI, we wouldn't introduce that immediately. We have a non-AI based algorithm right now that is functional. It's able to work, and we'll be testing that originally in Kenya this summer. And then as we begin to collect the data, I know like a machine learning model takes a lot of data, so we'd be able to use the reports that are going on throughout Chirp Alert to ideally train that model and make it better as time goes on.
I appreciate the Chirp Alert, the allusion to Twitter. That's neat. Thanks for the presentation. I just missed, you talked about your trustworthiness algorithm, and you gave 3 criteria, proximity, and I apologize, I just missed the other 2 kind of drivers in that
So
algorithm.
it's proximity, reputation, and experience. And to go into that a little bit more, proximity is just how close you are to the event you're reporting on. So,
Right.
you know, if you're reporting a fire and you're 10 miles away, we probably can't trust you as much as if you're 100 feet away. With experience, it's how long have you been using Chirp Alert? Are you an active user on the platform? Do you really know what's going on? Because if you just got it yesterday, maybe you don't know what's going on yet. And then with reputation, we're looking to partner with some third-party organizations, whether that be emergency services, community organizations, or some of the more trusted news sources in Kenya that are a bit slower but do tend to put out some good information, and be able to retroactively confirm whether or not certain reports were true or not. And so if a fire gets confirmed by emergency services and I reported yes on it, now my trustworthy rating goes up because we know that that happened. But if I said no, it would go down. And so those are the 3 factors we're working with right now.
So the business model scales slowly. Is that based on building users? It's a slow scale.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's why we're focused on Kisumu right now, because we want to build high density of users in one area that we know well, and be able to have it working well in one area and then move on from there.
And college students specifically there.
Yeah.
And how large is that target audience?
In Kisumu, I don't know the exact number. In Africa, it's 15 million. Kenya, it's roughly 2 million, I believe. And so there's a fairly large market, and what's really exciting about picking students is that as they graduate, they move into all these different sub-communities that we're really interested in growing into, and so it's a way to do it organically. So, if you're a college student and you own a small business, now we have some organic growth into the small business sector. If you aren't able to find a job, you become a boda driver. Now we have the driving community. That sort of thing is the idea behind that.
Yeah, and the really cool part about this project is we already have a very strong connection to a lot of connected people in Kisumu and Kenya. So hopefully with the money that we would be so honored to get here, we would be able to support the team on the ground to continue that community development work that is so essential to our app.
Thanks, Sanika. Thank you.
I just have one super quick question since my colleagues are asking multiple. Are you offering the opportunity to report anonymously, and can you also encrypt? Okay.
Yes.
You can protect your sources then?
Yes, everyone has the option to report anonymously or not. Yeah, that's completely up to you.
There are other markets, like Mexico, for example, where I know the FBI was working on this kind of project.
Yeah.
So you're aware of? Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Super. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
The ultimate goal for Vera is to enable college students to go to that one-stop shop when it's time to search for an internship. My name is Omar, and I'm the team lead for Vera.
My name is Yudge, and I'm the product manager for Vera.
Vera is a software that utilizes artificial intelligence to help students create target resumes as well as catered interview prep tools.
I'm really fortunate to have a hardworking and dedicated team that surrounds me. And being at such a low level in the process, it's like a special feeling because everyone has the same mindset and the same mission. Being a part of the Inc.U competition has really served as an extra validation for our idea and sort of added a fuel to the fire that was already going and just inspired us to work harder than ever.
Winning in this competition will allow us to accelerate our growth by enabling us to support a free launch period where everybody gets to try out the app for free, enabling us to collect a lot of feedback on exactly what's needed.
Good afternoon, judges. In today's world, getting an interview and securing an internship seems to be the #1 stress for college students. Even at Penn State, a school where we pride ourselves on having the largest and most loyal alumni network in the country. Now, why? Many college students do not know how to present themselves strategically and well to employers. With over 20 million students in the US alone and 235 million students worldwide, there's clear evidence for a significant market for an issue that's more prevalent than ever. Now, the main distinction between applicants is having a targeted resume that can pass the initial stage of screening. Now, 90% of Fortune 500 companies use an applicant tracking system, or ATS, to filter out 75% of their applicants. Now, ATS works by electronically scanning your resume, grading your qualifications based on the position, and ranking your application. And out of a survey we conducted on Penn State students, we found that 80% of students didn't even know about ATS and how ATS works. And after these students are awarded an interview, they struggle with providing favorable responses and showing good communication and interpersonal skills. But what's the solution? My name is Yaj, and this is Omar, and we are two of the co-founders of Vera, a viable solution that leverages the latest natural language processing models to produce catered resumes and cover letters, as well as to provide an interview preparation tool. Now, Vera works by allowing the user to input their information in layman's terms through voice or text to produce resumes validated by the Penn State Career Services and resumes proven to beat the ATS scanners. Afterwards, our users can use our application for our interview preparation tool that will cater these questions towards their resume and the specific position that they're applying to. Now, this 100% tailored experience is one of the major distinctions between us and competitors such as Resume.io or Resume Worded. We plan to use our funding we plan to initially release our product towards career services throughout the country who will promote and market this product to their network of students. Now, to support this influx of users, we plan to use our funding to invest in cloud infrastructure to support the extra traffic and the excessive traffic on our application. Now, when it comes to team synergy, each member of our team provides a new skill set and a unique skill set to the table. For instance, Steven's expertise in AI technologies as the tech lead for the Google Student Developer Club here at Penn State is a critical addition to our team's skill set. Now, we currently have a working prototype with both the resume builder and interview preparation tools implemented. And we plan to continue our customer discovery and iterative validation as we've released a prototype to our peers and continue to refine our MVP in hopes of launching another feedback loop in late April. And post-MVP, we would like to construct a best fit business model after completely understanding our user and scale to encapsulate the entire process from application to offer acceptance. Now, Vera will allow students to apply effortlessly and confidently to their next internship. So Inc.U judges, invest in Vera as we pave the future for college students.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, so your AI system, you're saying creates better resumes and cover letters. How are they different? What key components does your AI pull out, or how are you actually producing a better resume?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that question, and it's obviously a very important functionality, so thank you very much for addressing that. So there are multiple things that an employer looks for when checking your resume. For instance, obviously, one given one is formatting, but more importantly is the actual content of the resume. Now, when an employer looks at your resume, the first thing he looks at is how much does it match with the job description. He checks for whether you have the qualification, whether you have the same tools that is asked for in the job description, and even most importantly, he looks for the language you're using. Will you fit in the company culture? Are you using the same terms? Are you using the same things? And as Yaj mentioned, there's also the ATS, and the ATS looks for that, and 75% of applicants leave in that stage. So it is very important for us to create a resume that will, one, take all your information, present it as best as possible to the ATS, ensure you pass it, then to the employer, and ensure you pass that as well.
Okay, so it sounds like you're working with keywords from the job description, and that you're matching some of the style, the text style, right? Okay, all right. And then in terms of validation, how are you, you mentioned about iterative validation. I think I saw on your slide iterative validation. I think I heard you say something about career services. So how are you validating that these are quality resumes that your system is popping out now?
Yeah, so we started this, we had a very initial idea in where a very earlier version, and where our first and core objective was allowing college students to present better. Then throughout time, we kept pivoting because we noticed that it wasn't the perfect fit until we reached the current iteration we have. And this time, we realized that we're not going to repeat the same mistake again. So we immediately reached out to all the stakeholders, including the PSU Career Services here in Penn State. We talked to them for a lot of time. We got all the feedback they have, and we ensured that our algorithms and our AI are built to best fit whatever description a perfect resume would have according to the PSU Career Services, and obviously other online sources. For instance, in one of the algorithms, the way it's formatted is really heavily reliant on how a resume should be formatted for that particular, say, measure or instance relative to the user, relative to the position and everything else.
Just to touch on one other thing you asked about how our resumes are different and how what we're doing is different. We believe that we're actually part of the target market, and we have like personal experience dealing with these struggles, and we understand what college students go through year after year. So I believe that provides us a competitive advantage over other businesses that lack this firsthand understanding of the target market, and I think that enables us to effectively address the issue.
Thanks.
Great, good presentation. I'm going to turn this to the business side. Annie kind of took my question around the AI. And that is, tell us about how you'll actually make money and how the use of the funds will move the needle in impact in assessing product market fit and your ability to actually generate revenue.
All right, yeah, thank you again for the question. So we have the strategy very clearly laid out. And a couple of weeks ago, we finalized the prototype for the resume builder, and we had the interview prep tool out, and users have already been using it a bit earlier. So our next step is going to the PSU Career Service, giving them the application at no cost to first validate the quality, validate that there's a need, validate the market fit. From there, the beauty of this project is that we're college students. We're going to go to classrooms, we're going to go to events, we're going to go talk to student organizations, and we're going to, in the long term as well, we plan to have an ambassador program as well as social media marketing, as this project has very high level of convenience. Combining all of that, it's going to let us discover the customer in that first wave. That first wave we plan to have at no cost, so we understand what the user wants, what the user needs, and we're also going to be monitoring close contact with them to ask them, hey, what price point would you buy this for? And from the consumer side, if we see a price point that is good from our margins, then we're going to target the consumer market a bit more. But the current plan right now is to sell the app to the career services, make a deal with the career services of universities, as we understand that college students are not the best in terms of financial ability. But we'll keep monitoring the situation. We'll discover our customer. For now, we're focused on the career services. So yeah.
Just to touch on what Omar is saying, we think that targeting the career services is such a crucial part of our plan because we understand that each college wants to have the best representation for their school. And each college wants to have their students be in the highest placement programs, be in the best companies. So we think that targeting the career services is the first step and the best approach for this process.
And just to follow on, so the way in which you'll determine the efficacy of what you're attempting to do is through the free launch period and continuing to test with the career services side of Penn State?
Yeah, so how we plan, I also didn't address the second question, so thank you. How we plan to approach this is, because we're launching it at no cost, we want to get as much data. We really want to ensure that this product is what people need. We're going to give it out at no cost, and 80% of the fund is going to be allocated for cloud services and enabling the running costs to not get too heavy and allow us to scale fast. There will be another portion which is allocated for social media marketing and ambassador program, but we really think that the marketing costs in our scenario can be less, and we want to focus on the data that we can collect by giving the app for free, because job application is something, as we all know, is important for everyone. It's a priority, and we really want to make that difference, and we want to see it happen.
Thank you.
Thanks for the presentation. As a dad with 2 kids who are students, unemployed, I'm really interested in the details of this.
Right.
So I thought I heard allusions during your pitch that I heard a lot about the AI, but I thought I heard you just sort of nuance in that there's going to be non-AI support. Is that correct? Did I hear that correctly? That you guys will do some coaching, there'll be people looking over this? Or did I misunderstand that?
So,
I think it's the interview preparation too.
yeah, so actually, the application is AI powered, so it is AI based, but the AI, with the recent advances in AI, it can replicate what a professional person, and what we will do, our job as the team building it, is to make it as replicatable as that of a professional service person sitting down with you. So our application will provide what tips and other things you'd get from a professional person who's trying to help you pass through your career service. So let me clarify that. So for example, you're applying to a job and you want to get help with your resume. That's the first step usually. If you go to a professional career service. He'll sit down, he will help you with it, he will ensure that you're writing, following the proper format, and all of that. On the other hand, we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to have some guidance, and we're going to have AI take care of the exact content putting out there, but we're also going to have feedback similar to that. Like, say you're missing or lacking in a particular area, you need guidance there, we're going to give you the help, and it's going to be 100% tailored, because that's what the recent AI developments allows us to do. And in addition, what Yaj was referencing is the interview prep tool. So the second stage of getting, after you get accepted, you go into the interview stages. And in that, it's also AI powered, so we don't have a professional contact. But the way we build our models, the way we build how the system interacts with you, that's going to be us working with professionals to ensure that that specific part is replicated to each person, tailored to them. If you need any clarifying questions.
Yeah, I'm not clear on the interview skill part of your offer then.
Okay, so for the interview preparation, the goal of it is you'll get questions. Like Vera will give you questions tailored to your resume and tailored to the specific position. Like for instance, if you're applying to Apple, you'll get questions that like people who are going for a position at Apple will see in interviews. And other than the content of your response, you'll get feedback on just general like presentation metrics. For instance, pace analysis, or even the filler words you're using. For instance, like when I get up on stage, I tend to talk very fast. So that's one thing that you'll get feedback on, how fast you're talking. You'll get feedback on the amount of filler words you're using and the amount of gestures you're using. So it's the main goal of the interview preparation tool is to provide like tips and guidance towards good presentational skills.
So to summarize our answer, the interview prep part of it, we understand who you are as a user. That's why you inputted for us. We understand exactly what the position you're applying for. So we take that and replicate the experience that you would get if you were, say, got a friend to help you and you mock interview with them. The AI would give you feedback just like your friend would on your answer for each of the questions. It will look where you lack. Like, for example, in your resume, it thought that you lacked some teamwork skills. You're going to find that the interview prep tool is focusing more on that aspect. And like Yaj as well said, company culture, skills needed, qualifications, and all these things are included. So we're replicating the experience.
Okay. One follow-up question. Sure. Part of this is to kind of outsmart the ATS, or be a little bit smarter, constantly be a little bit smarter than all of the ATSs. What kind of research have you done into ATSs? Do you have plans? Like, how are you going to do the initial sort of contact with ATSs or research into their applications, and then how do you plan on keeping up with their continuous movement?
Yeah, so we are monitoring very closely all the resources, a lot of companies that make ATS, and some of them do have versions that are for you to try and test on your resume. So what we do is we look at the resumes we output, and we make them run through these ATSs. And then we look for where we lacked. We try to understand why that resume we created lacked in that area, and then we implement that to our algorithm. And the performance from a generic resume to a tailored resume has been very, very significant when run through an ATS. We've done multiple testing with a generic resume, just very general, not specific towards the job, same experiences, but very generic, versus a tailored one. The tailored one tended to perform over 70% better than the generic one. And we'll obviously keeping up with the technology and working with how they change is one of our utmost priorities.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I want to change the world with my surroundings, and even if it is small community or at Penn State or anywhere. My name is Stella, and I'm the founder and the CEO of Beyond Class. Beyond Class is an edutech startup company, and we are building a centralized hub for all students to have fair and easier access to all opportunities and resources provided at Penn State. Our product is different because we're built by students for students. There's one quote that helps me to do what I do, which is to be the greater fool. The greater fool is someone with the perfect blend of self-delusion and ego to think that they can succeed where others have failed. Being in an Inc.U competition gave our team, myself, a lot of confidence and another chance to prove ourselves that we believe in our potentials. Winning the Inc.U competition would give us assurance and a proof to ourselves that we are doing something right.
Be the greater fool. The greater fool is someone who is a perfect blend of self-delusion and ego, thinking that you can succeed when others have failed. Hello, my name is Stella, and I'm the founder of Beyond Class. During the pandemic, I was laid off from my internship, and luckily, I found this case competition hosted by Minister of Foreign Affairs from this resource hub where it provides all the resources for students to succeed. And I won the third place using my personal background coming from the international politics, secured my $500 and a great experience to add on my resume. So I wanted this success story for every student, regardless of their economic and social backgrounds. I realized that a lot of my US friends were facing the similar problems, where resources were abundant, but information is scattered. So Beyond Class brought this concept to the US education market. We want to solve the information divide among college students and solve the educational inequality. Starting from Penn State. So as Penn State, unfortunately, we do not have one single channel that's delivering all school events in one place, helping students to find the right teammates for the events and helping and not missing their deadlines for the scholarships or applications. Throughout our customer discovery, we asked 126 students, and 83% of our customers have answered that they face the same problem. So Beyond Class, being your own personal companion to your educational journey, we are an edutech platform that aggregates and recommends the resources for your success that suggests your resources based on your profile. Our AI engine filters and recommends the opportunities with deadlines. We work with professors to create more exclusive events so that students can challenge their potentials beyond class. Understanding our users' best needs and their wants, we're on a mission to empower each student's success. Unlike other engagement apps, we leverage AI to save students' time and match their profiles to deliver their tailored events. We already have over 100 users from our MVP and who are expecting our official launch in August. Our revenue models come from two different places. Our business with by hosting their events and advertisement of their organizations, and users with our freemium models. Our premium users will have additional features by finding their features such as profile sharing to other teammates for events. Witnessing this success business model in Korea, knowing the US market, we have no doubt in our success, especially with our mission and vision. So today we're asking for the future investment so that we could accelerate our progress from our current MVP. This will include hiring the backend developer and expanding our customer discovery to the other Big Ten universities. Today, you have a chance to make a difference on U.S. educational market by helping students to define what opportunities really meant to them. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you very much. I just have one or two just clarifying questions. So the revenue model, so it sounds like your end users are paying for access. Do you see any potential barriers to access by requiring your users to pay?
Could you repeat the question?
Sure. Might some of if the end user is paying for access, might that be actually a barrier for them to utilize your product if they're students?
So our users, so since we're premium models, every user with their profiles, they have all access to all opportunities. With like filters and calendars, they can use all these functions for free because we want to solve the educational inequality and do not want to create any more barriers for them. But the premium part will come along with, so there will be the case competition hosted on our website. And under the bar, you can share your profiles so that you have some skills that others don't have. So you can say, oh, I have computer science, or I can code, but I'm looking for someone who has an idea. And when they submit those profiles on this project or case competition, then those who are looking for the people who have coding skills will join their teams, and then they can apply so they can apply this knowledge and create something more innovative and creative.
Okay, sure. Okay, so freemium model, got it. That makes sense. And then one more just quick question, your MVP, can you tell us a little bit about that?
So we recently launched our MVP through completing successfully with Happy Valley Launchbox accelerating programs. And right now, we did customer discovery and receiving feedbacks by posting some of the events happening in March with scholarships, networking events, and case competitions. And people are giving feedbacks by signing up with our Google Forms.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Sounds really interesting. You do have a two-sided marketplace. So you have the user base and you have the suppliers of whether it's the events or something else. So talk to us about your vision for how it is that you bring both sides of that two-sided marketplace out of the ground. So you have a community, and you have the events and other activities that they potentially want to be matched to. Make sense?
Sorry.
Okay, let's try this again.
Sorry.
So on one side, you have those that will use the product. So talk to us about how it is you'll go about finding those individuals and getting them onto your platform, building your community.
Building our community. I think the community itself will be built by word of mouth first. Because I came up with this idea because I faced a problem, and I talked to my friends. So when I completed this case competition in Korea, where education is really highly competitive, and it's something that is very important for all Korean students, right? So looking at that, these are such a great resource for me to succeed. But I go to such a big university in Penn State, but why wasn't I receiving this until I was a junior year? Or how is it not delivering to me in an efficient or most effective way? If you understand the problem statement of ours, you will realize how great our product is. That's why we believe people will use word of mouth to recommend our product to their friends and help themselves.
Okay, I understand that side.
Okay.
So talk to me about I'll call it the host, I'm just going to use host events. So why would a host for an event, that's the other side of the marketplace, those things that are the categories you pick and choose for the member to play with. How do you find those hosts?
Those hosts of the events? Is that what you're asking?
Hosts of events, hosts of resources, where do you find them?
So right now we are scraping all the data on our own using with our data analyst, Daniel, back in the stage. But later, when we have enough users, we are going to outreach to those resources, startups, professors, colleges, and universities so that they understand how great our resource is. So from their point of view, they want more data. They want who is going to be interested in their field so they can have. If you're a company, you want to look for someone who has great experience or who has great understanding of the fields, right? So if you host those case competitions in those fields, people who are interested in more than just GPA or like those successful course academic sources, people who are actually interested in the topic will apply their knowledge on here. So then those will also find the pools of people they can look for the interns or the next the next candidates for their companies. So that's why we think understanding their point of view, they're always looking for someone who's passionate and interested in the field. So this will connect them in a way that they can both benefit each other.
Okay, I got it. Thank you.
I love the simplicity of your graphic. Thanks. So I just wanted to follow up on what Annie was just asking. Are your opportunities all around competitions, case competitions, or what do you mean by opportunities that you're going to provide to your users?
No, are you asking what kind of opportunities am I going to offer?
Yeah, like could you describe those various opportunities that users will find on your platform?
So we had around 11 categories for us to host, including like internships, research opportunities, club events. But through our customer discoveries, we also asked the question, what kind of information would you like the most? And as of right now. So we picked the top 3, which was case competition, networking events, and internships. Sorry?
No, I'm
So among those 11 categories that we offered on the customer discovery, they picked 3. So that's why we have 3 on our MVP currently.
And it occurs to me that the promoters of those events have a good interest in wanting to see them more promoted. Is that tied to your revenue model?
That would be tied as, so we have few steps to make to the revenue, I would say. We're scraping on our own of those databases because we need users to realize that this is the hub where they would find their opportunities, right? When that's proven, we're going to outreach to the business parts and ask them to be our exclusive partners so we can collaborate and create like exclusive events. So when that's made, when those partnerships are made, then we can change it to SaaS by by offering the premium models, the premium service for the members, so they can add on to those features after when we have enough partnerships with the enterprises.
Okay.
Does that answer?
Yeah. So you're scraping now, but after scraping, you're going to use more personal relationships and personal outreach to build the opportunity base of the 3 primary areas. How does that scale, though, if you leave PSU, like if you expand beyond Penn State?
So the reason why we asked for the customer discovery, we asked for the money for the customer discovery is that we understand Penn State the best because we are on Penn State. We understand what kind of clubs. I have great connections with friends and professors and schools. So I have an outreach being on site. But without being on site and understanding their difficulties, I can't provide the best resources for them. That's why we're asking for the investment.
Thank you. Thanks.
So what we offer is a more personable, engaging, and Gen Z vibe that you won't find in traditional media sports outlets such as ESPN. My name is Justin Lusner, and I'm the founder of Basketball Today. So Basketball Today provides fast-paced, consumable content for the casual Gen Z basketball fan through social media. So we really hope to just disrupt the traditional sports and entertainment worlds. We feel that we can do that by delivering this fast-paced, more community-focused content. Like, just imagine if ESPN had a Discord server and Stephen A. Smith was talking with their viewers in real time. They just don't have that, and we really think we can make an impact with something like that on a huge scale that the world just has never seen before. Being a business owner is fun. It's definitely a lot of work, and it keeps me very busy, but that's good, because that's what I like to do. So if we were to win this competition, this would really help us fast track from just Basketball Today to introducing Football Today later this year. Of course, launching that new channel requires a lot of capital, so this would really help us fast track that process with the hopes of becoming Gen Z's ESPN.
What's up, everyone? I am Justin Lusner. I'm a second-year entrepreneurship student here at Penn State University Park, and this is the story of my startup. So at 10 years old in 2013, I started a YouTube channel, and I love making videos so much that I made a video every single day for about 7 years. And that was fun. I grew an audience base of about 45,000
1,000 subscribers, but I burnt out in 2020. So I focused on post-production stuff, helped other creators and businesses kind of build their brand online, worked with some big names under YF Visuals, and I did that for about 2 years. I'm still doing it today. But this past August, I realized I love making content so much. I love YouTube, I love basketball. Let's fuse those all and let's figure something out. I want to be back in front of the camera. So I did a little bit of customer discovery. I talked to about a dozen NBA superfans and found out that there was a little bit of a gap in the market between traditional sports media outlets like ESPN, Bleacher Report, and the Gen Z casual sports fan. And so I was like, you know what? Let's talk to some people. Let's figure out what they want. What Gen Z sports fans desire is authentic, engaging, and more personable content, like I mentioned in that video. So we were like, you know what? Let's make content for fans, by fans, and we launched Basketball Today this past August. And in just 7 months, we're averaging about 40 million views per month across YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. And so here's what that content looks like. Let's hope the audio works.
Blake pouring water on a fan is funny, but it's not the funniest fan interaction moment in NBA history. Because when this fan made this shot for $75,000, the arena erupted, and LeBron James tackled the fan. The fan could have had another payday too if he wanted. He could have sued LeBron, I'm just saying. But wait, there's one more moment that's more funny than both of these. And this one happened when the Lakers were trying to trade for Anthony Davis. And everyone thought LeGM wanted Brandon Ingram out of LA. So in a game against the Pacers, the Indiana fans started chanting, and the best part is, the Pacers fans were actually right.
That video has over 10 million views on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. We have a bunch of other videos up there. We make daily content posted on those platforms. That's our business model. And we monetize through brand deals, ad revenue, merchandise dropping later this year. And this is what our growth looks like. So we can project that this May, we're going to be profitable on those websites through ad revenue, brand deals, merchandise. We're averaging about 10% monthly growth, but we've been outpacing that on a consistent basis. We're working with talent agencies out in LA, other big businesses in the sports world trying to get brand deals with SeatGeek, Manscaped, working with Clutch Points, another huge sports media outlet, collaborating with them, doing some content. We just got the contract about 20 minutes ago, which was sick. But the vision doesn't just stop there. That's just Basketball Today. We are building Gen Z's ESPN. Basketball is just our beachhead market. We're going to be launching Football Today later this August, followed by hockey, soccer, esports, golf, tennis in 2024, 2025. And that's the big vision here. We're going to take over, disrupt the sports media and entertainment market, take over what ESPN, Fox Sports, Bleacher Report's doing for the Gen Z audience by making that authentic, engaging, personable content. And the best part is we are our own target market, the people making the videos. We're making it by fans, for fans, like I said. And yeah, we just can't wait. So if you want to follow our journey, hit us up on LinkedIn at Justin Lusner or Basketball Today online. And yeah, I'd love to answer any questions.
Okay, per the usual, I'm going to start with some clarifying questions, make sure I understand. So, all right, you have content already on these platforms. Is the goal to make your own platform, or is it just to scale on these platforms?
I mean, maybe down the line. Currently, no.
Okay.
But similar to what ESPN did, they made their own platform, app, et cetera. We could definitely see that as a possibility.
Yeah, okay, well, it might be too much work. That was my first question.
Okay.
Okay, and so in terms of, just so I understand, where do you see your concept going? So you have some traction, right? You're attracting a lot of views. You know, why do you need funding, and how are you going to build out your business model, and what's the plan?
Yeah, so we're asking for $5,000 to continue scaling Basketball Today, pouring gas on the fire with our current growth, hiring another creator, an editor for 6 months, and then launch Football Today later this August with the NFL season. And that's going to cost us about $10,000 to hire a team to create that content. But we also know that we can reach profitability with that in about 6 months, which is what that $10,000 will cover, because we're going to have the same content infrastructure, similar team, and even cross-pollinate our followers from Basketball Today into Football Today.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. So you really then you just want to create more, you want to cover off more sports and create an empire. Okay, got it. All right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Great videos, by the way.
Thank you.
So let's talk about the business model. Let's talk about the sources of revenue.
Let's do it.
So you mentioned 3 sources of revenue. So go down, peel the onion, take us down 1 or 2 levels in each of the 3 sources, and tell us where you are today.
Sounds good.
In terms of the business and the revenue and where you want to be.
Okay, so we're currently making ad revenue through views on YouTube and TikTok. Instagram should be coming within the next couple of months. And that RPM is about amount of cents per 1,000 views is about 7 cents. Our collective RPM is 25 cents. That's also made up with merchandise and brand deals. Merchandise is launching later this year, so we haven't unlocked that yet. But brand deals we have. As I said, we're talking to SeatGeek about brand deals, Clutch Points partnering with them, Manscaped even, and that's going to take up a huge chunk of that revenue model, about 50%, with the other 25% chunks being ad revenue and merchandise. Currently, we're making about 1,000-ish per month with that revenue, but that's going to continue to grow as our follower base grows, because that's really the #1 driver of revenue online.
Great. So let me ask the clarifying question. So to break into merchandising and brand deals, it's about relationships and it's about understanding how to merchandise. So talk to us about the expertise that the team currently has and what additional expertise you need to bring in either on the team or as advisors.
Yeah, so I've been in the industry for 10 years. Networking, I've been to so many conventions. I was in Los Angeles this past week. I landed 2 days ago at Social Media Marketing World. I went to Vid Summit, VidCon a couple of years, networking a lot out in LA with talent agencies, met with them last week for lunches. I had like 8 meetings while I was out there in the span of like 4 days. And that's going to really help us with those relationships like you mentioned, as well as reaching out to people on LinkedIn, DM on Instagram, because we do have a little bit of a following that builds us some credibility. We also have one of our great content creators, Grant Sheets, back there. He works for an NIL collective, and so he is also helping us with brand deal outreach because he's working with athletes with basically the same brands that we want to work with. And so we're launching that in Q2 of this year, so this coming April, so 2 more weeks. Right now, we're still in the growth phase. Monetized phase for Basketball Today would be in April. And then for merchandise, we want to really capitalize on the cultural moments of the NBA, because we know Basketball Today, right now, it's not its own standalone brand that people would directly pay merchandise for, at least at scale. And so we want to capitalize, kind of like what Barstool does with their merchandise, on the overall cultural moments and players, making sure we avoid copyright, especially though, but kind of monetizing through that. We even have a smaller business we're starting within Basketball Today where people can design their own merchandise, upload those logos using AI, et cetera. That's a whole nother story. But we might even be able to build that brand up alongside with us to create more user-generated merchandise at scale.
Thank you.
So how many content creators do you have right now?
Okay, so on the main account, we have 3 content creators, me, Grant Sheets, and Austin Groft.
Okay.
And then we have a second channel that we launched about 10 weeks ago called Basketball Today Live. And we have about 20 people coming in and out. We do a live show every night, Monday through Thursday, for about 30 minutes. And then we also make additional content outside of that from the live show, but also in addition, like the video you saw, with a team of about like 20 people cranking that out. Content creators, on-screen talent, script writers, editors, social media account managers, people that look at the data, the retention graphs. We have a big team, and it's been a lot of fun.
But for content creators, the not quite 20 that you just mentioned, those are paid part of your staff creating content.
Correct.
And so you said that your point of differentiation or your tag is content by fans for fans. How are you going to differentiate yourself from all the other places that are doing
from like
fan-generated?
ESPN, Bleacher Report?
I don't know the competition in this space well. I'm wondering what your point of differentiation is.
Yeah, so with ESPN and Bleacher Report, like I said, their audience feels like they're being talked down to. When doing customer discovery, I found that out. And what the fans really want is like personal, like they feel like they're on FaceTime with you, authentic, engaging content. And if you look at ESPN, Fox Sports, Bleacher Report, they just don't do that.
So suppose you just think of great fans who are creating content just to create content on TikTok. How are you competing with that?
Yeah, so they're direct competitors. Our kind of competitive advantage is we can do this at a sustainable and scalable way versus an independent content creator. Like I said, I did YouTube for 7 years by myself. I grew to 45,000 subscribers in 7 years, posting a video every day. We have 200,000 followers in 7 months because I have a team helping me to do it. And I burnt out after 7 years. I'm not burning out because if I need to hire an editor and not do it myself, we can do that. And I also have other people stepping in, like when I was traveling last week, I wasn't able to create content every day. They could step up, do extra videos to kind of cover that hole. So it's really sustainable and scalable in that way. And we can keep hiring people, increasing that content output number.
Thanks, Justin. Good job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any more questions?
Yeah, I have one more question. Is there any disadvantage with being spread across so many social media platforms? Right, the social media platforms actually create a problem for you if you're if you're creating competition between.
Can you say that again? The first half I didn't hear.
Yeah. I mean, you're spread across really most of the social media platforms. Can you talk about the strategy going down the road? Are you going to stay spread across all these, or are you going to hone in on one or the other? What might be the advantage?
Yeah, so we're on all of them because it's really easy to just repurpose the same content. Like Snapchat, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, all short form is the same. There's YouTube long form and live streams, which are different. And then for Spotify, we just strip the audio of the podcast, repurpose that. And then we are also on Twitter live streaming and doing graphic content for Instagram and Twitter. So it's all really redistributable. But our strategy right now is to really hone in on the ones making us revenue, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. And we're really focused on those, and it's starting to work.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Any more questions? All right, thank you guys.
Binder can really help the bisexual community by opening the conversation, letting people know it's okay to be bisexual. My name's Mary Richardson. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Binder. I had personal experience being banned and feeling discriminated against for being bisexual. Tinder banned me when I had my preferences set to men and women, but would not ban me if it was just set to men. We made Binder so that people can have a place to make meaningful connections and a safe community, judgment-free. I think our app has been received very well, considering the first week we got hundreds of signups and it hasn't slowed down. Being in the Inc.U competition has changed my life. If we win this competition, we will use the funding to really grow our application, and it'll be somewhat of a confirmation of how well we're doing and that our mission statement means something. Hello, I'm Mary Richardson. I am CEO of Binder. We are an all-inclusive dating application for bisexual and bi-curious individuals looking to make meaningful connections. When I first tried to talk about my sexuality, I was a young girl seeking confirmation and comfort from my aunt, who actually refused to be here tonight, only to be told that bisexuality is not a real thing. It's a phase I was going through, and when I was older, I would have to pick a side. And that would most likely be men, because that is what's considered normal. This caused a lot of internal conflict with me that stuck well into adulthood. And here's where the problem we're trying to solve comes in. It's something we've all dealt with on the Binder team and millions of people face every day. And that's discrimination from both sides of the spectrum, gay and straight. We are fighting this problem by being the first bisexual application designed for a mainstream audience. Bisexuals make up over half of the LGBTQ community in the United States. That's 13 million people in our target audience. Other bisexual dating applications do not have the proper features to support our community, or you have to pay to use them, which is why we launched Binder last summer by releasing it to the iOS App Store. And since then, we have hit 10,000 users. With those 10,000 users, we were able to collect over 700,000 data points and have projections to hit 20,000 users by the end of this summer. With our subscriptions now, we have two premium features of two premium subscriptions of paid features. These use our added benefits to enjoy our new feature things. So far, we have bootstrapped the entire competition and have no ad spend. With the help of Inc.U, we know that we can take Binder to the next level. If we win the $30,000, we will use the funds to grow our development team, scale up our servers, pay for advertisements, and pay social media influencers. Thank you for considering Binder, and we look forward to changing the game in the bisexual community.
All right, thank you very much. I have a couple of questions. I think I'll start with, growing the community. So the vicious cycle sometimes is to attract people, you have to have a big enough community, committed, and then you're trying to attract those people to your community, right, to attract more. Sounds like you have a good start. Do you know what numbers you need for this to be sort of optimally sort of populated, right, so that you can attract more and more? Like how do you compare right now to, I think it was BiCupid? Is that correct? How do you compare like user-wise?
They have a lot more users, but with our growth and being on the market for only 6 months, we're set to catch up with them within the next year or so. Within the next few years, we should be able to be on the same game track. And with us, with BuyCupid particularly, you have to pay to even message people. So with them, they cut out a large percentage of their users that aren't willing to pay, that we will be able to fill that gap.
Okay. And that was my other question. What you mentioned, you have some premium services that people that pay for, but they can sign up for free, it sounds like, but they pay for some premium.
All basic features are free.
Okay.
So being able to swipe and message people is always free, and that will continue to stay that way. Okay. But for premium features, you can pay to hide ads, to have boosts, or to see who liked you first. Our second tier of premium features, we also added on that you have a message first feature, where even if you do not match with this person, they can message first. Okay. And now that conversation does not need to be continued, so if the person they message doesn't want to talk to them, they can still block them, but it gets that initial message to that person.
Okay. And one more quick question, I'll pass it on. You mentioned BuyCurious also as part of your potential target, which is a much larger market. Are you able to designate yourself as BuyCurious, and do the competition, do they also allow you to designate yourself as BuyCurious only, let's say?
Our app, you are allowed to put BuyCurious. Mm-hmm. So you can we have all of the sexuality like orientations on there, but even though it's mainly geared towards bisexual, but yes, we do have BuyCurious. That's something that I have not seen on any of our competitors.
Interesting, okay, thank you.
Great presentation. 2 questions. The first is around, you're gathering a lot of data. So talk to us about the data privacy requirements, particularly not just the personal information, but also how you're ensuring that individuals' privacy is protected, and if you happen to have minors, how you're ensuring that the proper controls are in place for minors.
So our platform is 18 above, and we do have an age verification on there that we are working to better design and better engineer. So hopefully we will not have any minors on our platform. With that, all data points that we collect, we do have in there that we keep, but we are a total ethical company that we would not do anything to breach their privacy, and we let them know that in the sign-up process.
Okay. My second question is a revenue question, and it's playing off of the question that Annie asked, and that is, you're basically in a two-sided marketplace. You have a community, and you have those looking to access the community. Talk to us about the sources of revenue and how you will grow and scale the business.
So 2 forms of revenue that we're seeking right now are from advertising partners. We were doing it for a little while, but the advertising quality was not where we wanted it to be. We didn't think it made the app look very good. So we're looking for new partners for advertisements. As far as revenue from the freemium subscription models, couples make up only about 10% of the users, but they make up about 70% of our paid users. So while couples are not the main majority, they're the people who are most willing to pay to use the subscription.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask about your ad spend. Obviously, you have some critical mass, but did I hear correctly? You haven't done any advertising. You were talking about maybe using influencers. You haven't started any paid ad, meaning have you paid for any advertising?
We have not paid for any advertising as of yet. We are doing all of this with search engine optimization and just growing our ranks and trying to be the best app we can. A lot of it is organic growth that shows the market need for this application. All of these people are looking for this app and finding us.
So do you have some plans yet in terms of ad spend?
We do. We have a marketing plan. We really want to grow our servers, which is why we're trying to get funding to a point where we can, if we go viral and start getting all of these signups, we're getting thousands a month right now. If that turns into hundreds of thousands, we're worried that our servers can't handle it. So we want to really be able to support them and not have the app crash. Right now, that's not an issue, but
Sure, yeah.
yeah.
And have you measured repeat at all? Repeat users, you have signups. Do you have any metrics around engagement or repeat use?
We have all of that data. A lot of it, we haven't had too many repeat because we've only been on market since last summer. But a lot of the people who have signed up last summer are still users and still being active in it.
So have you reached out to any of the non-repeat users to see what's going on there?
Yes, we have. And we have, a lot of it was features that we weren't able, they wanted features that we weren't able to support at the beginning.
Right.
We've done an entire redesign since our initial launch to better support the feedback we've gotten from those users. We're sending out emails saying, hey, please give us another shot. And we are seeing some people re-sign back up and like what they're seeing now.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks,
All right, so this is the moment everyone has been waiting for. So thank you all for coming today. It's wonderful to see all of these teams have such wonderful support from their friends, family, the Penn State community, as well as the State College community. So thank you all for that. It's always a tough decision to make those final calls on who gets money, but we have, the judges have reached their decisions. I'll just start it with the judges have decided to make 4 awards this go around. So we're gonna get started with giving them, we're gonna do them one by one. So I'm gonna let the judges kind of make a few comments as they do their awards, and then the teams that are all sitting over here just come on up one by one. If you have team members that are here that were not presenters that are sort of sitting in the audience, they're welcome to come up while we take the pictures with the big check as well. So you're all welcome on stage at this point. So Pat, we're gonna start with you to do a kind of kick it off with our first set of winners.
All right, winner number 1, Chirp Alert. Come on up.
Do you want to say how much it was?
Congratulations. Your team displayed the entrepreneurial spirit and the passion for your mission. We hope that these funds will enable you to continue your discovery, validate, and update your market need.
All right, and we have $2,500 for Chirp Alert.
Awardee number 2, Beyond Class. Come on up.
Come on up here, Stella. Bring your teammates. Do you want to say anything else, or no? Yeah.
Congratulations,
give you a hug.
team. Oh, thank you. You too have embraced the entrepreneurial spirit. And we hope that these funds for you as well will enable you to make progress in discovering new avenues for your business, to validate the market need, and to translate that from your Korean experience into the US market.
All right, and for Beyond Class, we also have $2,500.
So in case you didn't notice, we're moving backwards, right? We're moving into our final 2 awards. So in second place, we have Basketball Today.
Congratulations.
And the second place award is for $10,000. Okay. And what we noticed about this company is that you definitely have traction, right? So you had a theory about how to capture Gen Z, and you're doing it. And so you had a clear plan for how to expand your content to capture more market and grow your team, and we were very impressed with that. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Boys wanna come up?
Yeah, good.
They're coming up.
Get them on up there. Yeah. Come on up. You can slide the check down. You're all part of the team. Oh, you got lots of friends.
Bigger stage.
These are the 20-some content creators that you got going.
Where are we looking?
Straight ahead.
Our first place winner is Binder.
You guys come up here. Yeah, you want to go?
A $15,000 award, the remaining amount. We were very, very impressed with the strong community that you've already built. And your strategy of specialization has just shown to work so well right now. And in this particular space, we think that has just lots of traction. The other thing that we were very impressed with is that you can use this money almost immediately to move into paid advertising, your ad spend, and continue to grow this thing.
Thank
Best
you so
of luck.
much.
Yeah.
Oh, you deserve a hug too.
Thank you.
Congratulations. All right, well, that concludes kind of the fun for today. Thank you everyone again for coming. Our teams are kind of hanging out over here, so if any of you want to just speak to them, ask them questions, they'll all be hanging around to do that. Again, thank you all for coming. And take cookies.